Today is September 30th, 2017, and this bus is now 2/3 legal, which in my eyes is about 90% legal. So my title came back on Thursday, and everything was exactly how I wanted it to be. It now had a truck body. It now is only registered for 26,000 pounds. So that's phenomenal news. And just a refresher, I do not get it as an R title right off the bat. Maybe that's the procedure you're supposed to follow. I don't know. I skipped a step. It didn't turn out good for me. So I filled out the Pennsylvania version of the MV41. That's the correction document to weight, title, whatever, you name it, it's on there. The MV41. That's for Pennsylvania. So, fill that out. Left a little note. This truck, or this bus, this vehicle was never in an accident. It didn't need an R title. We would like to correct it to truck. So we sent it. I had stamped by the notar, of course. And 2 weeks later, I get everything I sent them back with an additional paper, and it stated something like, please follow the directions on this paper very carefully. And then it jumped to the next paragraph and said, please, if you wish to change the weight of this vehicle, please fill out the form below. And all it wanted was my current GVWR, requested GVWR, and what the unladen weight is, meaning what does it weigh empty with only the equipment you need in it. Now, if I had to sneak it over to Pilot to get a weight slip, I would have, but it never asked for a weight slip. It never asked for a stamp by a notar. Never asked that. So I just filled it out, put it back in the mail, and 1.5 weeks, it got back to me, which was Thursday, and everything is hunky-dory. Truck body, weight GVWR 26,000 pounds, which now means this bus, you no longer need a Class B license. My phone's about to die, of course. So, okay, I called insurances today. I started with Geico. Everything was going good. I told them I want my international truck. It's an international 3800. I want it, insured. Minimum liability. Well, it was going swell until they put in the VIN number. And the lady was very nice. Whoever, I forget what her name was, she was very nice. She said, well, my database is giving me that this is actually a school bus. I said, well, yeah, it was previously a school bus. I tore out all the seats, and it's just an empty shell. I had my title transferred over to a truck, and I got the weight class lowered. So I don't need a CDL. She's like, oh, well, let me go talk to whoever. So she did, and she comes back and she tells me that Geico does not have a policy for a bus like this for personal use. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. I can't argue with you. So, hung up, called the general. That was strange. They wanted me to take a survey. They took the survey, and then nobody ever picked up a phone. So I don't know. I might have got scammed out of giving them my zip code and my name. Whatever. So then I called, what the hell's her name? State Farm. Everything just went outstandingly perfect. I just told the guy right off the bat, I'm like, listen, I bought a bus, a full-size school bus. I ripped the seats out. It is an empty shell. All I want to do is make this road legal. Do you have a policy for me? And he said with no hesitation, yes. I'm like, okay, this guy really didn't take too long to look this up. Got transferred over, I guess, to the commercial department, whatever. And another guy came on. I told him the exact same story. He said, yeah, we can cover this. Like, awesome. And then he proceeded to ask me, did I want full coverage or minimum liability? So that kind of surprised me. You know, maybe some of you are asking, well, why would it surprise you if they have a quote? They have a quote. Well, I was surprised for full coverage. I did not take it. I got minimum liability. Full coverage on that would have been $2,100 a year, or $2,100 with 2 payments every year, like every 6 months. Instead, I got the minimum liability, which was $1,580 a year, plus roadside, with roadside, you know, I guess like what AAA does. That was like $30, because I don't know if AAA will come get a record for this or not. I don't fucking know. So I got that. He applied discounts, good student discount, you know, clean driving record, blah 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 blah. I pay $1,600. I paid $1,605 for insurance for this baby, and I was thrilled. Me and Dad did a shot of Jack Daniels right there on the spot, and we celebrated. Next, I was so excited, I said, you know what? Let's go get the plates today. Because I'm not really available during the week, because school is really keeping me occupied. So, called my local noter, not the one that did titles with me, because she cannot do tags and plates, or whatever, but a person in Nanticoke. My phone is going to die, so I'll pause right here while I go get a charge. But I went to a person in Nanticoke that does tags, plates, whatever you want to call them, and it was very, very successful. So as I was saying, went down to Nanticoke, and to a lady that does the tags and titles, filled out some paperwork, and since the vehicle is now lowered to $26,000, that makes it a Class 8 truck, since my title is a truck. So my tag or my plate costs as much as a Class 8 truck. I paid $575, and that's how much it's going to be every year to keep getting a new registration every year. And I know that's kind of a lot, but maybe once I get all this other, maybe once I figure out how the hell to freaking get it to a motorhome once it's converted, which may be, I don't know, 2 years or whatever, I don't know, no estimates, then it'll be lower. But so right now it is legally a 26,000 pound rated truck. It cost me, plus I had to buy the new plates, so the total for the whole thing was like $609 or something. But yeah, so that's my situation. Do I recommend others to do this? That's for you to decipher. I'm sorry if you saw my first video about this stuff. It did not go well at all, and if it did cause you trouble, I am sorry to hear that. But what are you gonna do? People gave me misleading information, and that's what I get for only talking to one person, even though the person was PennDOT. I guess it's just not good enough. And here I am, almost a year later, suffering the consequences from decisions made way back eight months to a year ago. So that's what I did. Basic breakdown, if I rambled too much, was my title was a reconstructed. I skipped a step. It wasn't meant to be. I filled out the MV41 for Pennsylvania to change that. I got it changed to a truck, and they also changed the weight class for me. I changed it to 26,000 pounds. Now legally, this is a 26,000 pound rated truck. I have to put my Class 8 sticker in the window yet. I didn't do that. I will do that when the time comes. I got my insurance through State Farm. I just simply explained to them that I bought a school bus. I took the seats out. All it is an empty shell. All I want to do is drive it. Do you have a quote for me? They said yes. The people I talked to were in Maryland somewhere, if I remember the caller ID correctly. My insurance cost is minimum liability plus roadside assistance. That is $1,600. That's with a 19-year-old's name on it, and of course discounts. And my tags for this, for a Class 8 truck, cost $575 a year. All I have to do now is get it in for an inspection, which I think it's ready. You know, an inspection is basically an inspection of the mechanicality, as I like to call it, the mechanicalness of this thing. So, okay, my 2 regular bus seats I have in there that are going to stay in there are only anchored on the rail against the wall. They're not anchored to the floor. I'm just going to kind of pretty it up so that it looks like it passes. So that it looks like they're anchored. That'll be anchored when I get to it. I just want to get this thing on the road already. But other than that, it's ready for inspection. Local garage over here, about 6.5 miles away, said they'll do it. Nice guy, family-run business. And last point I should mention, which I just forgot. Shit. I don't know. I forget what it is now. It was a good one too. I don't know. I'll pause it here so you don't have to sit here listening and me think. But yeah, I'm 2/3 of the way there. Although in my eyes, everything but the inspection is like 90% done. That's just opinion based. I'll wrap it up in case if I don't remember what it is I wanted to say. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. The noter told me that I should look into, if I need, a USDOT number or a DOT number. That's usually a number, I don't know, it looks like it's between 7 and 9 digits long. It's usually posted, wow, this camera makes everything really dark. Well, there's the front tire. There's the door, and right here's the side. There's usually a couple digit long number that says USDOT. She said it's free. PennDOT doesn't do anything for free, so I want to know what the catch is. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'll ask the mechanic at the shop what he thinks. I mean, just in my state, I've seen them on fleets of trucks, but I haven't seen them on like individual. For instance, this bus, when I bought it from my man Ralph, he only owned one bus. He didn't have a DOT number on the side. I don't think, let me go check, I don't think there's traces of a DOT number, but it didn't have one when I bought it. I've only seen them on like fleets, and even the fleet that had this before me didn't have a number here. But if I go over in the neighboring township to a bus line company, they have numbers on the side. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it. Also, I asked the noter if she has any idea if I'll have to pull in for those random inspections when you're on the interstate and you go past like one of those signs that says wait station, all trucks must pull in if lights are flashing, or you know, they have those random spot inspections on the highway when you're going down. She said yes, because I'm a class 8, and I was surprised because I'm a personal use kind of person vehicle here. But she said, you know, knowing PennDOT, go and just pull in, let them inspect you, and then probably at the end of the inspection they'll say, what the hell are you doing here? You don't have to be here. But there's no guarantee. So that's yet to be determined. I'm tempted to call PennDOT and ask them, but I don't feel like spending 45 minutes on hold asking some dumbbell a question and they'll give me the wrong answer. So I'm going to ask around. I'm going to ask the garage. I'm going to ask Ralph if he ever heard anything like that, or if he had to, or might know anything. I'm just going to ask around to people that have some foreknowledge, or possible foreknowledge with this stuff. But I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I noticed last week we hit 102, 103 subscribers. That's pretty awesome. I'm glad 103 people out there think that these videos taped on an iPhone and slapped together are interesting. I hope they help. I always say everything I do, it's not the right way, but it's the way I do it. So I was kind of thrilled when I saw that, and I would just want to thank you all personally. So, all right, folks, have a good one. Stay tuned. Hopefully this will go in for inspection in... I'm going to call tomorrow. Hopefully they answer the phones and they'll say, yeah, bring it over. But hopefully within 2 weeks, this thing will be done, in and done. So, all right, folks, have a good one. Peace. Morning, folks. Today's October 3rd. And I just found out some of the most important information to me about this whole school bus conversion. And I think I'll compile this with the other footage I have about my registration and insurance. So, as I said before, when I got my license plate, it's singular, the noter advised me to look into getting a USDOT number, and I was also curious if I need to pull into wait stations or roadside inspections. So I went on the government website, the FMCSA or whatever the fuck it is. It's very disorientating, that website. And it had a small questionnaire about if I need a number or not, and it's basically, it's not basically, you do not need, or at least in Pennsylvania, you do not need a USDOT number as long as you're not participating in commercial commerce or commerce. So that's that. In order to obtain that information, I had to call the Pennsylvania State Police, the Department of the Commercial Vehicle Safety Division. I told them my situation. It was I'm pretty sure it was a state trooper I was talking to, because the first time I called, it sounded like a woman receptionist, and then a man called me back with the information, and he was very, very specific, which was great. He told me, first I said to him my situation. Bought a school bus, I gutted it out right now. It's going to potentially become a camper when I get the money to do it. And I was just wondering if I need a USDOT number. And he said no, as long as you're not using it for commercial use, you don't need a DOT number. And then he asked me if I had my Class B license. And I said no, I had it changed to a truck and I lowered the weight class. He's like, well, that doesn't mean anything. And he told me that the police and PennDOT have been going at it the last couple of weeks because apparently PennDOT just will sign whatever they want and title something whatever they want and lower weight classes and just change up all this vehicle information, while according to state and federal law, it's not really changing a thing. The example he gave me was about 5 weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, they pulled over a lady driving a converted bus of some sort, and she didn't have her CDL, and I guess she didn't have the proper safety equipment, because, once you're over 21,000 pounds, GVWR of any sort, you need safety equipment. And she didn't know all the information that I didn't know. She ended up getting slapped with a $500 fine, and the vehicle was, she had to leave it there. I forget what they call it. So, and she didn't even know it. I don't even know if she was from the state of Pennsylvania. That would even sucked more if she was from out of state. When the police pull you over, they go by your manufacturer plaque that's in the door jamb of cars or up in the top headboard there of buses, and they go by what that says. If that thing says it's 30,000 pound GVWR, you need a CDL to drive that. PennDOT has no right to lower that because I guess under federal law that's just how it is. So I hope this isn't too confusing, but in the end, I didn't have to change anything. The officer just told me there's nothing illegal you have, because of course PennDOT signed it and stamped it, so it's legal. But just keep in mind, you're going to need some sort of Class B. He recommended me to get the non-commercial because he said the tests are easier. I was just very shocked. I said, okay, I'll have to go get that. So, as of right this second, 7:20 a.m., a setback on my project is I'm going to have to get a Class B. I'm deciphering in my head if I want to get a non-commercial Class B or a commercial Class B. Only reason being, I'm going to school for surveying, if a construction company hires me and I have on my resume I have a Class B, maybe I can get in some overtime with driving trucks or driving some dump trucks or something. But then again, my bus does not have air brakes, so I have to see how difficult or what the procedure is to get the air brake restriction lifted. But that's a different story. So if your vehicle is on the manufacturer plating says more than 26,000, you need a Class B. Don't avoid it. Because if you get pulled over, you're not gonna be a happy camper. And it's gonna be the most unfortunate because you didn't know and were probably not deceived, but if you went through all this bullshit paperwork and it comes back hunky-dory, and then you get slapped in the face with all this freaking law from state and feds, it's gonna suck. If you have any questions, please post them below. Yeah, so I have to get some sort of Class B. That's a setback. I'm gonna take the bus in for inspection tonight over a local garage, and that's where I'm at. So please, if you have questions, post it below. Share this with people. Tell them just skip to the very end or whatever, because man, that would suck if you're, if you're from Pennsylvania and all of a sudden you're in freaking Arkansas and you get pulled over and then they say, well, where's your Class B? And you get stuck there. What do you do? So, okay. Have a good one. Please ask questions. I normally respond very quickly. If I don't, I will respond. Have a good one, folks.